Good afternoon, dear students. So today is 4th of November 2020, and as per timetable, we are dealing with the paper Population Studies, paper number 1, in which today I will deal the topic of size, composition and distribution of population in global perspective with special reference of India. So this is a topic given in the first paper when you have to understand about what is the size, what is the composition and what is the distribution of population in whole world and what is the situation of India. Okay, so dear students, there is also a term spatial and temporal change. So let us start with what do you mean by spatial and temporal. So spatial refers to space and temporal refers to time. We all know this. And spatiotemporal or spatial temporal is used in data analysis, which data is collected across both space and time. So when we are talking about the size, composition and distribution, then in which countries and in which year, when this type of data we are used to collect, that is called as spatial temporal data. Okay. For example, shipping movements across the geographical area ever. So a person uses spatial temporal reasoning to solve multi-step problems by envisioning how objects move in space and time. So this is how you can you can see in this diagram that time in one axis time is given, in another axis space is given, and you can collect any data and you can fit data into time and space frame. And that's how you can predict how global population is. So when you talk about the international aspects of population growth and distribution according to syllabus, let's start with a view, with a globe, and that is shown in 5000 BC. I am just assuming that before 5000 BC, the world was like this, and this is the green portion, which is inhabitant or settlement portion where population is seen. So you can see that green is an intensive settlement and this is a small scale agriculture, and this is a hunting and gathering, and white one is a uninhabited or mainly ices. So before so much years or 5000 BC, world is like that. Okay, very less population, no population problem, and whole world was in the phase of demographic transition stage number 1. And again when AD 1 comes, then slowly settlement starts. That means agriculture production starts in a new way. And then you can see the green world is increasing. And again in 1500, the green world is again increasing due to the development process. And here comes India, when the population is now increasing slowly but gradually. Okay, and now in 1900 the whole world was like this. Okay, so viewing the global spatial geographical diagram, you can see how population was increasing by the verge of development, or you can see with the sake of development how population was increasing in the global diagram. And when we talk about the world population in spatial way, this is as you can see that the most dark one is over 155, over 400 per square kilometer, person per square kilometer. So you can see that in Asia, where China and India is there, the spatial population is very much higher around the globe. So you can also suggest that world population spatial diagram, China and India is dominating the world in context of population. And then comes North America and South America and little bit of Europe and Africa. Okay. And when you talk about the data, this is some old one, but you have to update this data according to the latest sources. You can see that Africa, continents is Africa, Asia, Australia, New Zealand, etc., Europe, North America, Latin America, and total. You can see in percentage. In Africa, the percentage of total population is 13% around the globe. But Asia contributes 61% of population around the globe. And whereas Australia, New Zealand, etc. contribute only 0.5% of total population. And Europe contributes 12%, North America contributes 5% only, and Latin America and Caribbean contributes 8.5%. So overall in 100%, you can see that Asia is contributing more around the globe. So this is how you can see and you can narrate the story of development around the globe. Okay, so this is how density of population you can see. The most dense population is, again you can see, India, China, and some part of Europe and little part of North America. So this is a dense population geographical figure. You can also depict in a geographical map or in a table area. And this is a night view. You can see in night view, India population is viewing much more than Africa, South America, and many part of the Russia. Okay, so this is how the night view of the population density, the students. Okay, and then life expectancy at birth is a one more characteristics of population. You can see the dark one is above 75 and above. So the most aged person lives in North America, European countries, and Russia, Australia, and Japan. And India's population is, you can see that near about 60 to 69 life expectancy in India, because India have to still work for more life expectancy at birth. So this is how you can also show in geographical map that life expectancy around the world, who is dominating. Okay, and then let us start that what is the structure of world population. Then when we can see the geographical region, then we can see that more than 3/4 of world population live in developing countries. Already I told you according to data, and fewer than 1/4 only living in developed countries. So there is a gap between developed and developing countries regarding the geographical region, regarding the world's population. You can see this both pie diagrams. One pie diagram is of 2003 years, more or less. The present one is percentage is like this, and when you project in 2015, we found this pie diagram. So when we compare world population distribution by region, because you have to understand about the distribution of the population by region, then you can see that Asia and Oceania was 60% share of population around the world in 2003, and in that year, Europe contribution was 12%, Africa's contribution was 14%, North America 5%, and Latin America 9%. But when we are projecting in 2050, then little bit decline in Asia only, from 60 to only 59%. And that means in near future, Asia and Oceania population will decrease, but in a very slow manner. But the most important thing, that Africa's population will be increased from 14 to 20%, and drastically changes Europe from 12% to decrease to 7%. So this is how you can explain the world population distribution by region, and how you can projecting the population around the 2050. And this also showed your students about the demographic transition model, that Europe in a 4th or 5th stage of demographic transition, and Asia and Oceania is still in the 3rd stage, and Africa is still in the 2nd stage. So around the world, demographic transition model is working. So that's what I was telling you, that in any case, in any country, when you can search, then theory works in any way. Even Malthus, even demographic transition, even pulse rate, each and every demographers who elaborated the theories, they are working in around the world. Okay, so this graph shows about the divide between more developed and less developed region. So you can see this is a billion of people from 1 to 10 billion. This is x-axis, this is a time frame. What I was saying, that spatial and temporal model, 1750 to 2100. You can see the more developed region is a x-axis horizontal, but the interesting part is less developed regions diagram. So the most population will be still in the less developed region, which consists of India and China also. And the world total population graph or trend diagram will increase like this. You can see the blue one. So in coming future, world total population will increase from 6.3 to 9.1 billion. So this is how you can explain by this trend diagram to this bar diagram. Earlier I told you in online class, you can remember that, and you can depict this graph in your examination also. So the world largest countries, we can see that in 2005, China was 1.304 population and India was 1.104 population. And at present, India is 1.38 and China is 1.45. But India will be number one in 2050. That will convert in 1.628 billion and China will be 1.43 only. So by 2050, India will probably be the world's most populous country. So this is how the size of population around the world, in which India's size will be increasing. Okay, and again you can see other countries around the world, United States, Indonesia, Brazil. You can see the little bit changes in those countries. So this is the world largest countries situation, and you can depict like this, that developing countries diagram, trend diagram is decreasing but in a low manner, and developed countries diagram is a steep declining. So this is also difference between less developed and developing countries. And this is a fertility rates. You can see 1950 and 2006 data in Africa's fertility rate, North America fertility rates, Latin America fertility rates, and Europe and Asia fertility rates. You can see in Asia, 1950 fertility rate was high, which less up to like this 2.3. But most fertility rate is still in African countries. In 1960, the figure was near about 6.8, and it will decrease only up to 5.2. So in near future, the fertility rate is very much in Africa, and that is a great concern for the world. Okay, so this is life expectancy at birth in India. In 1900, 23 male, 23 females, and 2005 it increased to 61 and 63. In Russia, 31, 33 increased to 59 to 72. United States, 46, 48, and increased drastically to 75 and 80. Life expectancy is more. That means development is taking more rapidly in America and European countries than Asia and Russia. Okay. So dear students, that's how you can suggest the pattern and determinants of age and sex structure. And earlier I told you about that age structure is the relative number of individuals of each age. An age structure diagram can reveal a population growth trends and can point to future social condition. This can be denoted as pyramid. I told you each and every stages of pyramids earlier also. Here is only example that in stage 1, that due to high birth rates, the pyramid shape would have a wide base, and due to high death rates, the pyramids would be very short in height. Concave shape indicates low life expectancy. And then we move to stage 2, then we can see that as death rates are addressed, the population explosion begins. This is example of Angola or any developing countries, you can say. And the height of the pyramid grows to reflect the prevention of more deaths. Shape becomes less concave as life expectancy increases, and the width of the base remains large due to ongoing high birth rates. So this was the second stage. And in third stage, you can see again when developing process takes place, as birth rates begins to address, the base begins to stabilize and eventually narrow. You can see this. Okay, base is narrow. Okay, and death rates are low and stabilized, meaning that the pyramid continues to grow higher. So this is the stage 3, and very interesting part is stage 4, which is the part of developed nations. You can see in stage 4, when any nation developed, birth rates and death rates are low as fertility continues to decline. And this is the period when we called is an aging society emerges, just like in North America, European countries and Japan, where COVID-19 is impacting very much in those countries. And there, pyramids seem to be invert. You can see the pyramid shape of pyramid is invert. That means this is a rectangular shape of pyramid. So this is stage 4. So you can talk like this, the difference between MEDC and versus LEDC, developed countries versus lower developed countries, you can see that in developed countries, the death rate and birth rates in one state very steeply decline in developed countries, and in developing countries that takes some time. Then you can see that this is the round one, which denotes that quick transition to the phase 3 from the explosion of phase 2 in demographic transition. And in developing nation, you can see that the longer time period as trapped on phase 2. So this is difference between developed nations and developing countries. And again, finally, I will depict for you the pyramid difference between less developed regions and developed regions. Okay, so this is how you have to say that this is a rapid growth pyramid, this is a slow growth pyramid, and this is a zero growth population, example Italy. So dear students, sex and age distribution shows that less developed countries have significantly younger population than more developed countries. And almost 1/3 of the population in less developed countries is under age 15. In contrast, less than 1/5 of the population in more developed countries is under 15. And today there are more than 2 billion young people below age 20 in less developed regions, and the age cohort that will soon become the world's newest group of parents. Okay, so young age structure in the less developed countries are mainly due to higher levels of childbearing in recent decades. So this is how you have to explain this type of question, that what is the age and sex structure, what is the size and composition distribution of the population in around the world, and you have to compare this with Indian population with the help of data and with the help of all the literatures. Thank you, dear students. Take care of yourself.